broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, man. Welcome back, buddy. Good to see you. It's been a while. We haven't seen you since we ended the season for the season premiere of the #1 show of the summer.
I've been I retreated back to the woods that I live in.
I see you've been growing grizzly and everything.
I have. I've been getting grizzier.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? And welcome to the AfterBuzz TV show network. And today we have a spotlight on one of our favorite contestants of this year's America's Got Talent. Actually, the winner, Mr. Paul Zerdin. What's up, sir?
Hello, good morning, guys.
How you doing,
Great
man?
to be here.
Thank you so much for stopping in. Seeing you in person, you're a very good-looking man. You got a nice chin.
You're not so bad yourself.
Should I leave?
I shaved this morning just for you. I had to shave, and you can see you clean over there too. I mean, you in the middle. You give us a buffer zone.
I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want to be the meat in that sandwich.
I compliment. He's a good-looking guy. So we was a manly compliment. Yeah. It was a bro-to-bro compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever makes you feel better.
So how you doing? You're coming from Vegas. What was you doing out there?
I have just come from headlining at Planet Hollywood,
Wow.
As I say that, it's as the words come out, I think to myself, really? Is that what I've just done? And I have just done that. I've been headlining at Planet Hollywood from last Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We finished Saturday, came over to LA yesterday.
Well, welcome. So
Thank you.
now you're doing the audition tour run for the next season of America's Got Talent 2015-2016.
Yes.
So how's that been for you?
It's been full on. It's been absolutely bumper to bumper, as we say. It's like non-stop PR, but it's fantastic. And the fact that you can, the auditions are beginning now for the new series, and that you can audition, and you should go and audition if you think you've got talent. Absolutely go for it. Right,
and that's at agtauditions.com, and
that's it.
Yes, you can find your city to audition in, but also you can just audition at home on a video. Just send it in to the website. Again, it is agtauditions.com, and if you don't want to go out and do it live, or if you can't, just make a video, send it in, and you could be on the next season of America's Got Talent. And they have a very special host this year. Simon Cowell is going to be he's going to be a judge.
He's not the host.
Judge. He's going to be a judge this year on America's Got Talent, and that's pretty. Look, we don't know what we're doing.
This is evident.
All right. Well.
So we're gonna get back to the auditions later on.
But just talk about Simon Cowell.
I didn't want to just talk to the puppets, but now I would like to.
You're going to talk to the puppets in a minute. Don't worry. I'm going to get the
Tell
puppets.
I'm
here. I'm down here. I can hear you. That's Albert.
We're not getting to you yet, Albert. We're talking to Paul.
Sam, shut up for a minute.
Please.
No, just talking about Simon Cowell. I think it's a terrific thing that he's on there because I know he's got this kind of image of being the nasty guy, but this man is not stupid. This man makes superstars, and he does kind of know what he's doing. So I think it's fantastic that he is a judge on the show, and that he doesn't mince his words. I should imagine Howard also, he would say what he thought.
Right.
Thankfully, he was very supportive of what I did from the very beginning, which really helped, and he liked what I did. But I saw him, not like people, and that was pretty scary. And knowing that especially on the live shows, it could happen to you. You would never, it stopped you doing those live shows
at any moment.
Is the scariest thing I've ever done. And I think, I've been performing for a while, and I've done some pretty big gigs in my time.
Right.
However, that. The live from Radio City, that's a big deal. And you look at those judges, knowing that, I knew I was doing quite well. But at any moment, I was not getting complacent whatsoever, because I knew that there could easily be sorry, Paul, this time it's not worked out. We didn't like what you did.
Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about, because before you got introduced to the America's audience on America's Got Talent, you were already pretty big over in your country. So you want to talk about that?
I would say I've made a good living gigging as a ventriloquist. I wouldn't say I was big. I would say I've done...
Was it big talent?
I did a TV talent show like 20 years ago, which definitely helped me. I've been gigging a lot, and I've worked, because thanks to things like YouTube now, you get a clip from a TV spot you've done on something, and that goes around the world, and then you get booked now because there's a comedy scene. The Forbes Rich List was out last week or whatever, and it's or the top 10 comedians, and the amount of money these guys have earned, and 2 of them are ventriloquists, which is fantastic for ventriloquism. Jeff Dunham and Terry Fator. The fact that you can earn such money and that people love comedy, it just shows you how much of a big business this is, especially around the world, globally. These guys, Jeff Dunham's toured the world, huge, and so I've been lucky enough to tour the world, not anywhere near as on that sort of scale, but I've done the comedy circuit in Asia for the expats, for Americans and British, and so I've traveled a lot, and I've done a lot of gigs, but nowhere near on on a sort of global scale.
So what sparked your interest in ventriloquism as a kid?
I started playing with dolls at a very early age. I had no friends. And I was just always interested in magic. I got a magic set, box of tricks for Christmas, and I was fascinated by the Muppets and Sesame Street, and I just knew I wanted to do something that involved puppets and comedy. I never wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but I loved stand-up comedy, and comedians, and Laurel and Hardy, and Jerry Seinfeld is one of my favourite comedians. And funnily enough, after I won the show in New York, I went with my friend Lee, who's sitting over there.
He's the coolest guy, by the way.
He is the coolest guy.
Wow.
And he helps me with
pretty cool.
He helps me with my show, and we've known each other for a long time. We're the best of friends. And we went for breakfast in a diner around the corner from the hotel in New York. And we're sitting down, and as we sat down, I saw that Jerry Seinfeld was in the next booth. And I was so excited, I can't tell you. I almost wet myself. I was that excited, right? And I said to Batty, that's his name, Lee Batty, right? And I used ventriloquism. It comes in really handy. I went, don't look now. Oh my God, Seinfeld is in the next booth. Booth. That's quite difficult to say. Booth. And he's really unsubtle. So if I say, "Cool, look at that girl over there. She's beautiful," he'll go, "Where?" And it's like he's so unsubtle. So I said, "Don't do
Jerry.
Don't do one of your exactly. So don't do one of your unsubtle things, subtle looks." And I said, "I'm going to go and ask him for a photograph." And I would never normally do that. I'm not into getting autographs and that kind of thing. But I thought, this is Jerry Seinfeld, one of my heroes.
Definitely, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. In a diner in New York.
Yeah, exactly. So I stood up, and he was having a conversation with a comedian who I recognised, whose name I can't remember. I said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but my name is Paul Zerdin. I am one of your biggest fans. I've just won America's Got Talent." Right? And I said
this is recently.
This was
Drop
literally
a little name.
2 days after I won the show, and I would never ever normally do something like that, but I just thought, now if I'm going to do it, now is the time. And he said, "Oh wow, you've won America's Got Talent." He said, "Well, I don't normally do photographs." I said, "Could I have a photograph?" He said, "I don't normally do photographs, but because you've won America's Got Talent, you can have a photograph." Sit down, and we had a little chat, and we had a photograph, and I was so excited. I was as excited meeting Seinfeld as I was winning America's Got Talent. The two were neck and neck. It was just, I watch that show all the time, and it's on here all the time. Definitely. I've got it on DVD at home, and I love it. And anyway. So we're leaving, we finish breakfast, we leave the diner, and as I walk out, this woman comes running up to me and asks me for my photograph, right? Says, "Can I have a photo with you?" And I said, "I don't normally do photographs."
But since I just won America's Got Talent, I'll do it.
Yeah, and it was just the most surreal experience. I met one of my heroes, and then I get asked for a photograph.
Yeah, then you're
myself.
someone's hero.
It's so
That's
weird.
Really
well,
cool.
She didn't say hero, but
she meant it.
But it's been amazing.
That's really great. And I wanted to ask you too, because you did do magic for a long time. Did you ever think about bringing it in with the ventriloquism? Is that something you're going to do?
Well, I belong to the Magic Circle in London, which is kind of like the Magic Castle here, and it's a very sort of exclusive magic society. And I've been a member for a long time. And I was actually a magician before I became a ventriloquist for a living. I did magic for a living. I was one of those annoying geeks that comes up to you when you're trying to have a romantic dinner for 2 in a restaurant, and some bloke says, comes along and says, "Hi, do you want to pick a card?" I was that sort
annoying,
of, and I made a living. I made a living doing close-up magic, and I wanted to be David Copperfield.
Right.
Whose show I just saw in Vegas the other day, and it's just I
on NBC's bill, they take care of the whole press for you.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Shout out to NBC.
No, they didn't. No, sorry.
I needed it as research.
I wasn't supposed to be going to see it. I was supposed to be doing something else, and I managed to get out of it. And I went over. I just went over and saw David Copperfield's show, and it was fantastic. And every time I see it, it's different. He changes it all the time, and he loves it. Anyway, I was thinking, just to go back to your original question, I've been working on some ideas where the puppets do some magic, and some magic happens within the puppets, and that's why I love using animatronics, which I've used in the final of the show. I wanted everything sort of coming together, and that, in a way, I kind of think that is sort of related, because the whole thing is, puppets come alive like this. Let's get Albert out for a second.
Hey, welcome to the show.
So this is Albert, and so this is.
We don't have a mic for Albert. I apologize.
Do you know what? I was doing an interview the other day, and the presenter was holding a handheld radio mic, and she put the microphone when the puppet answered. She did that. When the puppet was talking, so it kept going quiet, and I kept having to say, no, the microphone needs to be near here.
This is the speaker.
So this is what. So I think that ventriloquism and puppetry, it's part of magic, because the whole thing is that it's an illusion that he's suddenly comes alive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's this?
Well, this is Daniel.
Hi, nice to meet you, Albert.
Yeah, and this?
That's Cameron.
Nice to meet you in person. Big fan of you. Definitely.
What?
Happy to meet you in person. I'm a big fan of you.
Yes.
Happy to meet you in person.
See, now I love this. You are talking to a puppet now.
Right. You literally.
Hey, I mean, he sold me on it.
Yes. Good evening.
So you just getting back from Vegas?
Yes, Vegas. We went to Vegas, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yes, I like those showgirls.
You like the ladies?
Yes, I like the ladies. Yes. Yeah.
So did you stay in your bag the time, or did you get to see the sight and seeing of Vegas? Did you come out and play, or what?
Albie's talking to you.
What?
He's talking.
I got him. I know how to
still be hungover from Vegas.
I think I know how to get him to hear me. So how much of the prize money did you get, Albert?
Yes. Now let's talk about that.
Oh, funny that.
So I do have to say, for everybody that might be watching or listening, it is quite different seeing you do it live in person than on stage.
Close-up ventriloquism.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic though, because on stage you can kind of get lost.
Look at it. Look at it. Is it moving?
No,
is it moving?
And that's the
look
thing.
At it.
Sitting here
is
watching it, there is no way that I could say that your mouth is moving.
Something's moving. I can see something.
Get away.
Look at it. Look.
Again, I think we should leave.
So anyway, so my point, sleep for a minute. Okay. It's
Cameron sleep.
Right.
I always think that the ventriloquism is kind of related to magic, because it's an illusion, isn't it? If you can
definitely,
if you can do it.
And at what point did you add comedy?
Early on, really, because I think ventriloquism without comedy is just a man talking to himself, which is a bit creepy. Mm-hmm. And people already think ventriloquists are mad and creepy because of the way that they've been depicted in the movies over the years. They're all sort of psycho killers, and I knew that from very early on it had to be entertaining. So you could be technically the greatest ventriloquist in the world, but if it's not funny, then what's the point, really?
Right.
So yeah, early on.
And did you grow up watching other ventriloquists? Like, were you a fan of Charlie Mccarthy? And
I discovered him later when I became a sort of serious ventriloquist and decided I was going to do that for my living. And so I did my research, and there's been some amazing ventriloquists over the years, and it goes back thousands of years. But I knew Charlie Mccarthy and Edgar Bergen, and he was a massive star here. He was a really big star. He made movies.
Yes.
Not just. I think he started on the radio. I think he had a radio show, and then he had television, and then he went into movies.
I think he may have started in vaudeville too, even way back before then. Sure.
But when he broke into broadcasting,
yes.
And when broadcasting, because radio was when did radio come in? 50s.
I'd say like the
40s.
Yes.
It was 40s, wasn't it?
Well,
when did
1942.
Yeah, I'd say the 40s, somewhere like that, late 40s.
In the 50s, in the UK, there was the biggest show on the radio was a ventriloquist show, and I think he got the idea from Edgar Bergen and Charlie Mccarthy, and he was a guy called Peter Brough who had a character called Archie Andrews, and it was a sitcom on the radio all about a ventriloquist. People say, "Oh, you can't, ventriloquism on the radio. That's just stupid." But it's not, because it's about being funny, and it was the comedy that was the most important thing.
And if you think about it, a lot of radio is ventriloquism. It is people throwing their voices that you can't see.
Yeah. Where's his hand gone now?
Oh, so let's talk about this past season of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
let's go through your whole process on the audition. So, how was it for you when you got the call or you auditioned? What was that phase like?
Well, you know, in England, there's a show called Britain's Got Talent, and the part of the prize for winning Britain's Got Talent is appearing on a show called the Royal Variety Show in front of the Queen or Prince Charles. And I was lucky enough to already have performed on that show a few years ago, and so I thought, well, if I entered the British one, that would kind of look like I'm cheating because I've already done the Royal Variety Show. People might think, oh, hang on a minute, that's not right, why is he doing a talent show? But I thought, well, America, if you're going to do it, why not do the biggest and the best show? Right. So I thought I'd sneak over to the States, have a go at auditioning. I didn't tell anybody. Only my mum and dad and my girlfriend knew. No one else. Didn't tell a soul. And came over, did the audition in LA in April. And I thought if it went well, then I might start telling people about it. But if I got like a and then literally just walked off to the sound of my own footsteps, I wouldn't tell a soul. And I thought, I could get away with it. Well, luckily the audition went really well. But when I came back, I forgot about social media. I was just like,
you can't hide anymore.
There's always a trail.
None.
I'm sure, like, as soon as you stepped off stage, it didn't even air yet. Somebody was tweeting you. Just saw you audition.
I had, what did I do? I went home and I told somebody, and then I was working away. I was working on a cruise ship a few weeks later, and a friend of mine who I didn't realise is he's an old friend of mine. He's a comedian, and I write with him sometimes as well. And he sent me a text saying, "Hang on a minute, I've just seen you and the puppet on a trailer for America's Got Talent. What the hell is going on?" And then he phoned me and we had a chat, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing it, but I'm not telling anyone really about it until I know how it's going to sort of play out." And luckily, it was going quite well.
Right.
So yeah.
So go ahead.
Let's go back to, you got the Golden Buzzer from Marlon Wayans, who is I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
He in a way is a hero of mine. I grew up watching him.
Yeah.
But it's not about him. It's about you.
No.
But that moment when you got it.
It was a mixture of euphoria and jet lag because I'd just been doing some gigs in China and in Hong Kong, and I literally doing some comedy clubs for the Brits and the Americans, the expats I was talking about. And I flew home, and then I flew into New York, and I did that week of the judges' cuts. And I thought the spot went all right. I thought that I wanted to do the baby, and I did a baby.
Yeah, because you did the urinating baby.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Paul Zerdin and his amazing urinating baby.
Tonight on NBC Live.
Yeah, because we had a great show about that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you had to go back and watch that show.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
I'd like to see that. And I did a routine that I just thought, I think this will work really well on TV. And as I did it, you've got like an inner monologue going on when I'm on stage doing my thing. You're judging the audience. And I'm thinking, this is going well? Oh, that normally gets a big laugh. And there was a couple of bits I thought, oh, that normally gets a round of applause, because I've been trying it out in clubs literally the week before. Mm-hmm. And so when I did it on this show, I thought, oh, that's interesting. That didn't get as big a laugh as I was expecting. But then it obviously did the job, because Marlon gave me the Golden Buzzer, and I'm forever grateful.
Right. Now, the quarterfinals is when I've really engaged with your artists, when you left the stage. Mm-hmm. I had never seen that done before.
Right.
When Sam came alive,
and you just walked off, and he continued to entertain the crowd. That did it for me.
And that was the magic.
It's kind of it's animatronics, and radio controls and animatronics have been around for a long time.
But he's not real.
And I'm really sorry. God, I'm sorry.
I can hear.
Oh, okay, great.
I can hear you.
I feel so much better now.
And there was a ventriloquist in the 60s, a British ventriloquist called Dennis Spicer, who sadly died in a car crash 2 weeks after he performed on the Royal Variety Show in England. Wow. And he just made a big impact. And one of the things he did was have different characters within his show, and he kept going back to this dummy that was just slumped on a chair, and he'd say, "You all right? I'm all right. You're all right? Yeah, I'm all right." And literally he swallowed his voice, did his routine where he swallowed his voice or something, and then he went back to it, and then went back and did some other characters, then went back to this puppet again, and then right at the very end, when he took his curtain call, the dummy jumped off the chair, came running off, and took a bow with him, and took the curtain call, and it was Kenny Baker, R2D2.
Wow. Inside the whole time.
Dressed up as a dummy. No, not even inside. It was him in a suit, and he just had makeup on his face. And it was fantastic. And so I remember seeing a clip of that somewhere years ago, thinking, what a fantastic idea. And there was a ventriloquist in England called Keith Harris, who sadly died last year, all these people I'm talking about have just died. And he had a character called Orville. He had a duck puppet, and he in the early 80s, I remember seeing him on TV, and he had a duck puppet which came alive and started walking on the stage.
Wow.
And so I was aware that, and Jim Henson helps, pioneer all this radio control stuff with all the movies, and they used to use the guy who built my animatronic puppets. He worked with Jim Henson on various films, and they used to use animatronics where they couldn't get a puppeteer in, basically. So have it radio controlled. There's a famous clip on. It's from one of the Muppet movies where Kermit is riding a bicycle with Miss Piggy and all the Muppets through Central Park.
Muppets Take Manhattan.
That's it. Thank you.
I know it very well.
That's good.
So that
I don't know what you're talking about. Puppets or Muppets
that
at
was
all.
made in the very early 80s.
Yes.
And that was a mixture of radio controlled, puppets and all sorts of stuff. So these sort of things have been around a long time, and you just think, if you've got this technology now at your fingertips, why not embrace it and use it? And it's still, the fact is, it's still ventriloquism, and particularly for my live spot. Or are you coming to that? Are you building up to that?
Oh yeah, well yeah. So next was the semifinals.
Okay.
Where you actually had to bring Howie on stage and use him as a dummy. Now, what was that process?
Okay,
puppet.
So Howie became my puppet, and the best puppet I've ever used. He was absolutely fantastic, and I'm so grateful for him just being the way he was. He was just brilliant.
And can we put it to rest? He had nothing to do with it. He was not in on it ahead of time.
He had nothing to do with it. I
heard it here.
I was going to use someone from the audience, because that's what I do. I have a routine where I have a man and a woman up on stage, and which I've just been doing at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. And I just love saying that, because how often do you do that? I thought I would use someone from the audience, and the producers were a bit nervous about what I wanted to do, because they said, this is going to be live television, you're going to use people from the audience, it might go either way, and they suggested, why don't you use a judge? And I said, oh really, do you think the judges would be up for that? And they said, well we'll find out. So they didn't tell them what was going to happen, but they said, would you be originally I was going to use Mel and Howie. And then the time, you have such a short amount of time when you're doing your performance particularly on the live shows, and because it's live, I thought I'll just do it with one person. So I said I'd like to use Howie, and they said, right, he's up for doing something, but we haven't told him what it's going to be. And his reactions were genuine, and he was just brilliant. And the idea of a ventriloquist, a human becoming a puppet, goes back a long time, and I just thought it would be a great idea to have something, a radio controlled thing. So I created that about 2 or 3 years ago when I was on tour at home, and I've been working on it ever since, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to try it out and use it on on one of the judges, and I am so grateful. He was just fantastic, and he made me laugh as well while I was doing it.
Funny.
That's great. And you were saying Lee is the one who helped you with some of the animatronics during it.
So in the final performance, this is Lee Batty, everybody. He's my very, very bestest friend, and he's my production associate. We still haven't worked out what that means. No, we don't. But we say, this is my production associate. It sounds impressive, doesn't it?
It's enough to get him through security. Go, hi, I'm Paul Zerdin's production associate. I'm very important. And they go, the guy who met Jerry Seinfeld? Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, that's it. So he basically, the final performance, I wanted to show that all the characters kind of coming back, because I'd performed the baby on one, I performed Sam a couple of times, and I wanted to show that I had another character as well, because sometimes you could be criticised for, he always does the same puppet or whatever. So I needed to make sure that I introduced a new character, and so Albert came out on his mobility scooter, and so Batty was, we called each other by surnames. Batty was operating Albert's mouth, so it's still ventriloquism. It just, you can be a ventriloquist. You don't have to have your hand up the backside of a puppet to be a ventriloquist. Right. So, and I just thought, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it like that before. So we had Albert come out on the scooter, and he was having to lip sync. So he was operating at Albert's mouth, but I was throwing my voice and making him talk, and he had to lip sync to my speech. And we did a whole new bit which we wrote while we were out there for the final, and I told a comedian friend of mine at home, and I said, he said, I love that last bit you did on the final. I said, yeah, I hadn't tried it out. He went, what? I was at the Comedy Store literally just a few weeks ago in London, and he said, you're crazy. I just went out and just did a new bit on live television, live on NBC. and it was a risk, but it was a risk that paid off. But his lip syncing, Batty's lip syncing was brilliant, and it worked really well, luckily.
It was spot on. It looked really good.
And that brings us to the finals.
Yeah, well, that was it. Obviously,
We've
just discussed
that's what I figured. That's what that was. So
I'm way ahead of you. Thank you.
Nah, you went to it. I had to.
He jumped. Cameron's trying to pull it back, and Paul's like, "No."
Because he jumped into it. I'm like, I had it, but it's okay.
I'm sorry. Was there anything you wanted
sometimes
to
you
talk
just
about?
have to go off of it.
You know, you jump right into it.
Well, let's go into that moment though,
Okay.
when you were in the top 3 now.
Yes, I think
How's
so.
that?
I can't really remember it. It's all a bit of a blur.
I'll bet.
To be honest.
You're just because at that point you're done performing. It's just about finding out and having Nick Cannon draw it out as long as possible.
You know,
and the winner is hold please.
Yeah,
waiting.
Yeah.
After commercial.
After the break, yeah, and then there's another break, and it's that's worse than the actual performance. That nerves wise,
right?
And there's nothing you can do. It's absolutely out of your hands.
Right, it's done by that point.
Yeah. So you have to just try and get through it, and it just seemed to last a lifetime. And there was right at the final moment, it was myself and Drew Lynch, who was also in the show in Vegas that we did along with Piff, the Magic Dragon.
That was his boy right there. He was disappointed.
I love you and I think you're great, but
you.
Piff is my man.
Thank you. Oh no, Piff is hilarious.
He blew it at some time. Whatever
he did,
he blew it at
but
that one skit. He
he's
fizzled
fantastic.
out.
Oh well, he's terrific, and he was in the show as well, and it was lovely working with the two guys again. And Drew, and I honestly thought Drew was going to win, so I was standing there in my head going over my congratulations speech to him.
How do you turn and go, good job, great job. Hope we get to work together.
It was exactly that. I was going over my head, right, say that and then get off. And then when they said my name, that was a real, I genuinely, the look on my face is absolutely real. I didn't know what to think.
Was there a second where you're like, wait, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What the?
Did you really say Paul?
Yeah. Excuse me? Me? Yeah, no, it was like, it was that. And I still, when I say it, I caught up with a friend of mine back at home in London a few weeks ago, and we were having a few drinks, and I just kept on saying, she kept on saying to me, "Can I just remind you, you won America's Got Talent?" And it was just the weird. It's still saying it.
So you're paying for lunch.
Top dog.
Yeah. So now you're doing the tour, the America's Got Talent tour. And then
I'm doing the press tour to this press tour for
building up for next season.
For the next season. Sorry, yes, I misunderstood.
I misunderstood what I was saying.
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense.
You'd make a good ventriloquist,
I really would. I think I'd be better as the puppet.
Nonsense the whole time.
That's my wife says that to me all the time. She goes, "Do you ever stop talking about nonsense?"
No.
And I say, "No.
No.
You married me. It's too late."
We can see this.
But as far as social media, has social media impacted your whole ventriloquism?
Social media is, it's like, I can't really describe it. It's just, it's media that's social. And it just happens instantly, doesn't it? And people are sort of commenting whilst you're on stage or on TV. You're getting, a response, and then doing the live shows in Vegas, suddenly there'll be a tweet. As soon as I get off stage, there'll be a tweet saying, "Oh my god, I love the show," or "Oh my god, I hated the show." There's a reaction. So it kind of happens whether you like it or not. So you absolutely embrace it because it's the way.
Right. How have you used it to spread your talent?
The one thing I find, like, I love the idea of Twitter. But I find it, that if you're supposed to be a comedy performer, the pressure for everything you say, I think, if you, let's say you look at Jerry Seinfeld's Twitter feed, you want him to say something funny. So I think if people like me and voted for me and are fans of what I do, then you would be, you're obliged to say something funny. You want to try and be funny, and I can't always think of funny things. So I think I like doing the photograph, the Instagram thing, because I can do a sketch visual. Or I do, and that says it all really. So I do more pictures than say, great day today, beautiful weather, I'm going to get a coffee. It's like, who cares?
Now with season 11 coming up next summer, they have the audition tour going on. AGTauditions.com. Make sure you sign up and be a part of next season. What tips?
You could be sitting here being interviewed by us.
What more could you want?
Right?
Yeah. So what tips or things you could give to the next somebody?
If you've got a talent and you think you've got a talent, and you absolutely have to go ahead and audition, because it's an amazing showcase, and you know, yeah, and you mustn't be put off as well. You must, you know, it is quite a daunting, nerve-wracking process. Right. And don't let Simon Cowell put you off.
Don't let him scare you off.
Don't let him scare you, because you know, if he likes you, you know, he could really help you. He could make you. You know, I was really lucky. I think also, if you do have a talent and you kind of, you believe in yourself, and it's all about that.
Definitely.
You believe, there's inner belief. You have to kind of make sure that you save something back for if you start doing well. You've got to still have material that can kind of better what you've already done if you get further down the line. So that I was conscious that as I went through each heat, and I was lucky enough to get to the next level, I still had something that I was kind of holding something back. But of course, when you do your first audition, you also want to show them what you can do, and really you sort of hit them between the eyes. So you have to make an impact, but just not give everything away immediately. So it's hard. It's really hard, but it's really important. I'd say pace yourself.
Right. So that's the auditions tour, agtauditions.com. Now, quick questions for you.
Make it quick.
Who's your favorite America's Got Talent judge? Who was your favorite?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. Who was your favorite contestant? Someone that you were behind stage with, speaking with?
I love
other than Paul Zerdin.
Winner for America's Got Talent. Oz Perlman, the mind reader.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was terrific.
And who is he? The one that you got the best bond with, and you guys still?
Benton.
Ben
Blau.
Yeah.
You still communicate with anybody after the show?
Yeah, Benton, Oz, and the crazy ladder man, Uzziah.
Oh my gosh, I love Uzziah.
He's become a friend, and it's amazing when you're in. You know, you're all competing against each other, and yet there is this strange kind of. I think bond is too strong a word, but there's something that happens, and I think it's all because you're all part of something quite unique. And if you get so far with it, which we did to get into the finals, it's like you become a member of some sort of exclusive club. So you're forever, connected from this.
Right. So
sorry, that wasn't a very quick answer.
No, who's your favorite Beatle?
Paul McCartney.
Okay, I get that.
Who's your favorite member of the Who?
Roger.
I'm just throwing out British things now that he brought up.
Who's
your favorite doctor? Don't worry about that.
My favorite doctor, Dr. Stammers. He used to work at my surgery down the road, but he's left.
He's great. I like him. His adventures are
fantastic. Who's taller, you or Heidi?
I don't know. I think she might be. I don't know. She is beautiful, by the way, in the flesh. She's
beautiful in the face.
Beautiful in the flesh.
In the flesh.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of the flesh, but what I saw.
All right, we don't need to get into that. Whoa, I don't know where you were going with that. So if you could, as much as you can.
I like these quick fire questions. Ask me more.
I had a couple more. Craig Lewis Band. I got to give a shout out to those guys.
Yeah, that's not a question. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll Center for Tootsie Roll Pop?
How many what? I don't even know what you're talking about. That's like some sort of foreign language.
English slang. Yeah, it's some English slang we got going on over here.
I'm just trying to get some quick fire questions. What's next?
This.
Great.
How has your fame changed over in your country now that you came over here and dominated on America's Got Talent?
Well, it's kind of filtered back home. So is this supposed to be a good answer?
No, it's good.
It's opened some doors at home as well, which is great. And I did a radio show which I've always wanted to do called Steve Wright in the Afternoon on BBC Radio 2. And I used to listen to him when I was growing up, and I always wanted to go on the show, and I could never go on that show. I tried, and they just said thanks, but nah, it's not for us. Then I win this show, and they're on the phone saying, "Come and be a guest on."
You had to go to America.
I had to go to America.
Back home.
I know it's strange, isn't it?
That's how it works. It's like Jesus, he had to leave. Okay.
Why are we talking about that? I'm right here.
Let's talk about Jesus.
Nobody gets love in their hometown.
Now let's talk about the real reason you're here. Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Questions, comments, concerns?
So what's next for you, man? You just got back from Vegas. You got $1 million in the bank account. What's good? What's next for you? What can we expect? TV?
Yes, hopefully. Touch wood. I've got some ideas. I don't think this is wood, is it?
Well, it
looks a bit odd. Didn't touch
wood.
Is
it touch wood? We have knock on wood.
Hand between your legs. Touch wood. It's too rude. I've got some TV ideas, and I was, when I had all the characters on stage together for the final performance, I was in the back of my head thinking, I've had an idea for a sitcom for a long time, which is kind of Seinfeld meets the Muppets,
NBC,
with a ventriloquist, and it's never been done. I don't think it's ever been done before. So I'm keen to try.
Really,
and they just brought the Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets are back.
Right.
Can you
Back on
believe
TV.
the Muppets are still going?
I know.
After, since what 76, 77?
They had a hiatus and then they came back.
But it's just.
What's so
amazing.
crazy about that is their marketing is brilliant. I know it's another network, but the way they're keeping those puppets out there, and they had the whole
and the social media side
and the social media, and Kermit dumping Miss Piggy and bringing
wasn't
it
that
up.
great?
Oh, I would watch. It was like a reality show.
hilarious.
It was that engaging.
It's brilliant, and I they're just the best. I love it's a shame that Jim's not around.
Definitely. So
to see what they're still doing.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no.
No, so go ahead, give your social media, how they can get a contact to you, where you're going to be at next, and America's Got Auditions.
America's Got Talent, that's the important thing, agtauditions.com, and it's going to be, go online and you'll find out all the details of where the tour is going to be, and you can literally, you'll be there, you'll be in front of a camera, that's when the filming starts from there, so it's a massive opportunity. If you've got talent, absolutely go for it. And
what would you like to see on the show that wasn't there?
Could change your life.
What type of talent would you like to see on next season?
Well, I come from a magic and vent, as we say, puppet background. So I want to see more. I want to see more puppets and more magic.
More magic puppets.
More magic puppets. I want to see, yeah. And I don't want to see so many singers because there are other talent shows for singers.
Yeah, that was our point this season.
I don't know if anyone's ever touched on that on our show, every single episode by me. But
oh, really?
I just feel personally that it's a talent show, and there are very talented singers.
Yes,
but there's
there are.
American Idol. It was gone, but there's Voice.
Yes.
There's a lot of other shows specifically for singers. And there are. I mean, there's magicians do have some of the Penn and Teller shows, but it's not quite the audience that America's Got Talent.
This is a variety show, variety talent show, and so in a variety show you have to have a singer.
Right.
Yes.
You need a singer. You want to see singing, and you want to see dancing, and you want to see people that can do amazing things. And when you see this show and you watch America's Got Talent, it just shows you there are some unbelievably talented people out there.
Let me ask this question: what did you feel about the Extreme? What was it? The Extreme.
Is there a question to there?
The question is, what is his opinion about all the extreme talent sports they did outdoors when they were jumping over fire?
You don't have to answer that because it's not really a question.
What was it? No, I'm asking you.
I only saw a bit of it, to be honest.
I
didn't really see that, so I'm sorry I can't comment on that. Ask me a better question.
Well, I do have a question. Is there anybody going back that was like, really, you're going to be a ventriloquist, you're going to make your money doing that you're now like, hey, check this out?
Yeah. Well, early on, I remember, you've got to have hard gigs along the way when you're doing comedy, and pretty soon whether whether the gig is going well or not within the first. There's a British comedian called Tommy Cooper. He was a comedy magician, and he used to say, "I can always tell in the first 20 seconds whether it's going to be a good audience or a bad audience. Good night." And that was it. It was off, and it's just like it's true. It's based on truth that within the first sort of 30 seconds whether you're going to get this audience or not, and you have to. And there's been times when I haven't. And they let you know. I had things thrown at me when I was starting out. I used to work in some pretty rough places. I had ashtrays thrown at me. I had a shoe thrown at me. And I think you learn. You just learn. You either it's survival of the fittest, and you have to absolutely just you not be put off. You have to go for it. And if you believe that one day you'll make it, then you have to. And I've definitely had situations where I thought, oh my God. And I remember driving home, just thinking, what the hell am I doing? I literally just spent 4 hours driving to a gig miles away, and absolutely died on my butt, and then drove
paid
home
chicken
and got paid nothing, and had just had loads of abuse hurled at me all night. But that makes you stronger. You have to have the bad gigs. You have to.
Yeah, I think that's very important. There are a lot of people who go to LA every day thinking that it can happen just like that without putting any
knowing
type of
it's going to happen. I'm going to walk off this bus, I'm going to walk into Hollywood, and I'm going to be in a movie.
Well, sometimes it does happen.
People it does, and it makes it harder for the rest of us.
But I've been doing it. I have been doing it for about 25 years now, and I've only just kind of broken through. So, but you know, sometimes it happens quicker for people.
Yes.
You know, they say, "Oh, you're an overnight sensation." Yeah, after 25 years,
right.
you know,
that you know of.
Yeah,
that you watching know of.
But I've been working, you know, doing it for a long time, and you get experience, and hopefully you get better.
Right.
And that's the thing, you know, you can be an amateur, you can be a professional, and America's Got Talent is the place to audition, no matter what, because you know it's an amazing showcase if you can. You know, if you can do it.
Absolutely. And we've had Taylor Williamson on here a few times, who was the runner-up 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And he is still touring and working with NBC and working with America's Got Talent, and then doing his own tours. And there's so many doors that can be opened because of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So, like,
you don't have to win it.
Just go on. Do it.
Yeah, absolutely go for it. agtauditions.com.
Yes.
Totally go for it.
And they'll be in Los Angeles September 2nd. Nope, wait, you know what? That passed. I don't know what that says right there. I'm going to just ignore the date that's on up here, and I'm going to look. And just go on the website, and you'll find out when it's coming to your city.
AGT auditions.
And I got to meet Terry Fater, you know, winner from season 2, you know, and he's become friends. I was hanging out with him last week.
That's amazing.
With Terry Fater.
Was this when you performed at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas?
Did I mention that? We did a performance together on the results show just before we got the results. Yes. Terry and I did a little bit together, and you know, to be on stage, first of all, pinching myself, thinking I'm at Radio City Musical, Radio City Musical. I'm live on NBC, and I'm with Terry Fater. I mean, it was like it's downhill from now on, really.
And I don't know if you noticed this so much when you were doing it, but watching it, he actually picked up on a cue that you started when you started doing the puppet to Nick Cannon talking, and then he came in the other side and was doing it. It's like,
what can I say?
No big deal. Just prompted Terry Fater to join in this bit. I watch everything.
He's become a friend, and he's so nice. Great. He's just such a nice guy, and you know, his show is amazing. I've seen his show a couple of times in Vegas, and you know, that's what can happen if you're passionate about what you want to do, and he's absolutely living the dream, and he's such a nice guy.
He seems like it. Now, I feel like I'm going to have to be this guy, because there's going to be people commenting, where was Sam the whole time? And I feel like I would be remiss if he wants to come and join us. I feel like there'd be a lot of people that would yell at us in caps locks.
Oh, your hand is cold.
Sorry.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
Who is this?
This is Cameron.
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
And this is Daniel.
Hi, nice to meet you.
All right.
I'm going to say some things that are going to make you confused and baffled at what I'm talking about.
So, we're talking about America's Got Talent.
Yes, I know. I'm listening. I'm just down there, you idiot.
All right. Okay. Just don't be like that. So, what do you think about America's Got Talent?
I think it's great. I'm going to audition.
Really? Without...
You think you can do it?
By yourself? Without Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to audition, yeah.
What can you do?
Ventriloquism.
You can do ventriloquism.
Do you have your own puppet?
Yes.
Is he here with us?
He's talking now.
Oh.
He's there.
You're going to do ventriloquism?
Yeah, I'll show you.
You can't do ventriloquism.
Yes, I can. You think you're good? Watch this. Hello, how are you? What? Come on, that's good.
That was...
Look, a puppet
But
doing
you
ventriloquism.
didn't make his lips move.
Hello, how are you? I'll make his lips move, yeah. Hello, how are you?
Now that's good ventriloquism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now that's creepy.
This is a good bit. Write this down.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to write this down. We're ad-libbing now.
We're just going for it. What?
So, Sam, how has your life changed since you left the show?
Well, I shouldn't really talk to you now. To be honest, I'm too important.
Are you?
Should we talk to your representative? Do you have your own Lee?
Lee Batty. Lee. Asking what his middle...
Ask him what his middle name is.
No, wait. Lee, what's your middle name?
I couldn't possibly say.
Well, but you would have to. You know what? Hold on. We'll cut the mics off. All right. All right. Now the mics are off. You can just say it. Nobody can hear it.
Okay. My name is Lee Batty.
By the way, I don't know if you know. I can't do ventriloquism when I'm laughing. You're not going to say anything yet. No, I did. I lost it once in a show, and I was in the middle of making him talk, and I lost it, and literally, I was in a crumpled heap,
Can you bring it back, or did you have to end it?
I got there together because I was working off. We were doing. It was a tour, and there's a bit where I come off stage and get the baby puppet and bring it back on stage. And I used to just sort of swear at him when we'd come off stage. We just have a bit of banter, and I went back on stage and I couldn't stop laughing because I could hear him pissing himself. Can I say pissing himself, by the way? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you just did, so it's too late. Don't worry, we'll not bleep it out. This is live.
I was hysterically laughing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, really funny. Ha ha ha.
All right.
Wow, this is getting personal. Do you two have issues?
There's a side to him. There's a side.
Do you ever walk in and they're just having a fight and nobody else is in the room?
Well, I heard Albert and Paul arguing about the shower this morning.
I did that.
So you two were arguing about the shower.
You're not going to talk for a minute. Is that okay?
You and Albert.
Go ahead.
He's very good, sometimes. He's very professional.
Yeah, I know.
So I was in the shower this morning, right, and we're sharing a room at the moment because
you and Lee.
Well, it's a long story. We're not a couple.
No, we're really not.
We're not, but we're sharing a room.
It's that NBC money. Just get a shared room.
We've got a twin room, right? And there's just luggage and stuff everywhere, right? And I went into the shower, and I got out of the shower and I was pretending that Albert, the old man character, was in the shower. So I was literally just doing the voice because obviously I'm in the bathroom, and all he could hear was I was just doing Albert's voice. Yeah, can you turn it on? Albert, just get in the shower. I can't switch it on. Can you switch it on? All right. And I was like putting the shower on, and then he said, can you do my back for me, please? No, Albert, do your own back. I'm drying myself. Oh, come on, please. It was like a sort of, one man.
And you didn't care whether Lee was listening or not?
No, I was doing it. I was doing it to make him think, oh my God, Zerdin's lost it. Because that's one thing I would like to point out. I never talk to the puppets off stage. People think, oh, do you think he's real? I know he's a prop.
No, he was.
Oh, how rude. How rude!
I've heard of ventriloquists though talking to the puppets, and there's a famous story within the world of ventriloquism that a ventriloquist, and I think he was an American ventriloquist, came over and was playing the London Palladium, big theatre in London, right? Big, the variety theatre, like your kind of Radio City. And he didn't go very well on stage, and he was overheard in the dressing room afterwards shouting at the puppet saying, you weren't funny tonight.
Wow. Well, and there's a lot of famous stories that Candice Bergen was jealous of Charlie McCarthy as a brother. I've never heard that.
Is that right?
Yes. There are rumors. I don't know Candice myself, but there's a lot of rumors that he
had his own bedroom apparently.
Yes, and that he was treated as her brother. Really? And I'm not making that up. I wish I was.
That is
and again,
strange.
I can't confirm any of that. So if I'm about to be sued, my name is Cameron Penny.
Oh wow!
You can find me at Yotown Music.
But it's a very strange thing because I was doing a gig at a comedy club a few years ago, and I do a routine where the puppet's calling either me ugly or someone in the front row ugly, and it's like a lot of ventriloquist humour is the dummy having a go at someone in the audience, or
you're free because
the puppet could get away with stuff that you couldn't.
Yes.
Anyway, I could see this guy in the front row, and he was like shaking his head. He was like that, not looking impressed. So I thought, all right, let's leave him alone for a bit, and I did some other material. Anyway, as the gig finished, you remember this, don't you?
Oh yes, very well.
Your voice is lower today.
I know. That's because you got a sore throat.
And as I walked out, and I had the puppet in a bag over my shoulder, and the guy was waiting for me at the door, and I just had a feeling this was going to happen. He was there, and as I walked past, he said to me, this is no word of a lie, he said, you better tell your little mate to watch his mouth. All right, and I went, yeah, right. And he went, no, seriously.
This is here in America?
Wow.
No, this was in London.
Oh wow.
No, I'll tell him. Do you get people?
And I was so tempted to make the puppet.
I figured you said something
from like far away.
yeah. While I was starting the car.
I can't do the voice, but
that was good.
What? No, it was not. That was more of Pinocchio trapped in a burning building. I don't know where. I say things sometimes.
Put me away. This is embarrassing.
So, possibly a two-part question: do you do public appearances or signings and meet and greets with the puppets? And if so, do people talk to the puppet as if they're their own person?
Yes, they do when the puppet is animated. When the puppet's just slumped in a heap, then because the idea is to make him make him think he's real. Try and make him as believable as possible.
That's right. Yeah, I'm real. Yeah, all right.
Right, but then when he's not talking like this, and he's just an inanimate object, he's just a puppet. So people do though. I did a hidden camera show a few years ago. I did a pilot for a hidden camera show. I was trying to get off the ground. And you're all right?
Oh, this is really comfy, thanks.
and it was about to see if people would talk to. One of the things we did was to walk into a restaurant with the puppet, and I took the old man in and Albert, and just to see if people would have a conversation with the puppet. Went into a restaurant and ordered dinner for 2. And the waiter was having a full-on conversation with the old man, and I was going, "Oh yes, can I have a Caesar salad, please? And I'll have the dressing on the side." And I was ordering my lunch, and then we decided that he was going to change his mind halfway through. And then when they brought in the food, "I don't want that, I want the soup," or whatever. And the guy was having a conversation, and we had cameras everywhere hidden, just to see if it would go. And now I was literally sitting in a restaurant, and people were staring. You know, it was embarrassing. But when we watched it back, the reactions were fantastic.
That's hilarious.
That's good TV.
And so I've got some ideas like that as well.
Nice.
That I want to get off the ground here.
That's great.
America's Got Talent, season 10 winner, Paul Zerdin. Can you give your social media handles, please?
At Paul Zerdin.
How do you spell that?
That's Zerdin. That's at Paul Zerdin, or you can go to paulzerdin.com and Facebook Paul Zerdin, and I think that's about it.
You have any performances here while you're in LA?
Unfortunately, I don't, but I've got some meetings this week to talk about that very thing.
Right, so the auditions tour is going down right now, 2015, 2016, AGTauditions.com. Daniel Weiss.
Yes, that's correct, Cameron. Yes, you can find me at It's Daniel Weiss on Twitter, and my improv group, Doctor Who Live LA, on Facebook. Cameron
Penny _ Thank you to Paul.
Thank you so much, Paul, for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Pleasure
Thank
to
you,
meet you
guys.
in person.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on the money.
Thank you.
We're going to lunch.
Are we? Right.
Okay.
It's on me, is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm
Like
saying.
that, is it?
Lee and the publicist, pretty lady over here. I forget.
This
her
is
name.
Christina.
Christina.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you guys so much.
Spotlight on.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.